Fire. It's inside all of us. For some of us, it's a little bit more apparent than others, but it's in all of us somewhere. The main difference is what gives us our fire. For some, it's through music. You know, the Jimi Hendrixes, the Freddie Mercurys, the Michael Jacksons. For some of us, it's through other forms of art or expression. In this documentary, we'll be talking about how it pertains to college athletes. Many of us grew up playing some kind of sport, but very few athletes make it to the collegiate level. It takes a certain love of the sport, a certain grit, a certain driving factor. Many college athletes understand that the next 4 years could be the last of their careers, so they try to capture every last moment of it. They learn to lead, learn to balance athletics into their daily lives, and learn how to be a teammate, not just an individual. We will be tracing the student-athlete experience at UVM and how they express their fire. Hope you enjoy.
Dude, what time is it?
6:30.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'm going for a ride.
Darling, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? If you say that you are mine, I'll be here till the end of time. So you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? It's always tease, tease, tease.
What does it look good where I am in it?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sam Noel. I am a cyclocross racer. I'm from Shelburne, Vermont. I'm a freshman at UVM, and this is my 9th year racing. When I was 9, my dad brought me to a training race at Catamount, and I was on my mountain bike. It was a cyclocross race, and I just had a blast out there. I came in last, but it was still super fun, and that kind of got me hooked. And from then, season after season, it's just been getting progressively better. I was chosen by the U.S. national team to go race in Europe at the World Championships. It was honestly probably one of the biggest accomplishments in my career so far. I was a first-year U23 and was able to go race the U23 World Championships. At the beginning of the season, it wasn't even a goal for me. I just thought it was too much of a long shot, but as the season progressed, it became more and more reachable, and I was lucky enough to get selected. Racing in high school, pretty much at the same caliber. I was able to miss a lot more days of school, and training was pretty easy. I mean, like, I'd come home from school, train, I didn't have much homework. And I missed about 50 days in high school last year. All my teachers were pretty chill. I was a senior, so it was pretty easy. But this year coming to college, I knew it was going to be a lot different. With missing classes, it'd be a lot more work, and I didn't know how the professors would be with me missing school for a sport that's not a varsity sport at the school. But I missed 2 weeks for the World Championships, and I was really glad that the professors were pretty lenient with me and supportive of the trip I was on. Yeah, it's definitely it makes it harder, you know. A lot of the varsity teams here, they train together as a team, and with the team I'm on, kind of spread out around New England and not having people here to train with all the time, it does make it harder. And I am kind of jealous of the varsity teams. Just it helps a lot to be able to be around other people and push each other. But I think that one thing that really motivates me to ride and to push away some of the distractions is just my pure love of the sport. I love riding my bike. I love being on it.
If I go, there will be trouble. And if I stay, it will be double. So you gotta let me know. Should I stay or should I go?
Track, and for me as well, cross country, it's always been somewhat of a family tradition. My uncle, my brother, my dad, all very talented in the running sports. So I almost was destined to do it before like I even did start to do it. But yeah, definitely middle school started when other people start sports and had a great time. I was pretty competitive from the start, and you know, it's just one of those things where step by step you move at a certain trajectory, and you always kind of have your eye on a goal. And what for me that was always to run at the Division I level and get into a good school with my running, and do what it takes to get there. I actually think being an athlete helps with my school stuff because it forces me to go to bed at a good time, and then I get up early in the morning, and it provides a little more structure to my mornings. So, you know, it just provides a little more structure, and I have to be disciplined, or else, you know, something's gonna give. Either it's gonna be my running, it's gonna be my schoolwork, or something in between. Yeah. The most memorable part is sitting in there's a conference room in the basement of the field house. I forget what the room's called, but it might be called the Hall of Fame room. And it was right before a conference championship, and our coach sat down the people who were racing, which was the top 10, I think, and he was like, listen guys, you guys are the best team in the history of UVM, and basically he was hyping us up for our conference championship and telling us we had what it takes to make school history, and that was just really powerful to like be in that group of people. Average training day, our track team practices at 7 every morning, so get up, you go to practice, and you do usually like a 3-mile warm-up, or no, usually it's like 2 miles, and then you do some stretching, and then coach tells you what workout he has in store for you that day, and then you get to it. And then yeah, as far as race days go, usually it's a drive, because most of the schools we compete against are a couple hours from here. So get on a bus, you go, you run your heart out, and that's it's usually a day thing.
Hi, I'm Ella King. I'm from Underhill, Vermont. I'm on the cross country and track team. I started running cross country in 5th grade. I didn't start running track until junior year of high school, actually, because I did ski racing in high school and I played lacrosse, which is a little different than most people on the track team. They usually run all year round. I expected higher mileage and like higher intensity training, which has happened, but I feel like going into the year I've had a better foundation of training, just like running more mileage over the summer, and it hasn't really been too bad. Oh man, I've learned so much especially from running. I think like the mental toughness aspect has really helped me in the sense of like resilience, in the classroom and just in life in general. I think there's just an overall drive within our team, and everyone works hard and everyone wants to be successful, so I think that ultimately encourages the rest of the girls to do that. We're really focused, and we're not really competitive among each other, which is a really awesome part about our team. I think a lot of individual sports can get a little tricky in that area, because if you're really competitive with your teammates, that can cause some tension. But I think our team does a really good job of encouraging each other and really being excited about everyone's performances.
New York, junior. This year everybody's really close together. Everybody really enjoyed playing, and I think this is my favorite year here so far. Just being with all the guys, being on this team, and just being an upperclassman, I was able to kind of work with the other older guys to help the team image get like more crystal clear, so nobody was confused about what we wanted. So I broke the 5th metatarsal in my right foot. I was playing in practice. It was right after winter break, so we played a game, came back from Christmas, landed on my foot, so I was like basically the rest of the season was done for me. But I was in a boot, or I didn't have a get it casted, so I can work on just keep the muscle strong in my foot like quicker. So it was like an 8-week recovery period, and it took honestly until the middle of the summer until I felt like back to normal. So after that point, I felt like, okay, now I can like actually play how I want to play, and then I wasn't worried about it anymore. But it's a long process, just getting your body back to the way it is, because after you break one thing or like have something mess up on one side, then you got like imbalances, and it took me a while to fix those. Coach Becker, he's a great guy. Sometimes he's stern, but he also cares about everybody. Some coaches care about everybody, but they're also not good coaches. So he does a great job of understanding that everybody needs to be careful and understand like what point people are in their lives and like what you need to do to motivate them. So while he takes all that into account, at least I think personally, I can't speak for other people, but I believe that he does a good job, especially with me, working and helping me push myself forward. So that allows me to be more focused on the goals of the team, and now I've completely bought into what the team's about. So now once I know that and can do that, now I can trust him more. So actually right now I declared for the draft this year. That's the first step, was declaring an agent and talking to them about like who would want to work me out or who I want to go see and what teams are like a better fit for me. So now it's just going out and working out for the teams and seeing like what I need to get better at, what the competition is like. I'm going to work out with the Celtics this weekend actually. So I'm going to be trying my best and whatever I can, but I've never been through the workout, and I trust that I'm be a good type of guy. Like I know that I can hopefully handle the interview questions, but I know that there's also a whole different part of the game that I haven't really been experienced to. So again, just how high school to college is different, college to NBA is probably something real crazy. So.
Ain't shady, baby, I'm hot, like the prodigal son. Big up Bartolini, meeny, money, mo, and flower, you're the chosen one. Feel your left hand free, and your right hand grip, with another left hand, watch his right hand slip, towards his gun.
Hi, my name is Jenny Peterson. I'm from Oslo, Norway, and I'm a skier. I come from a country where like skiing is just like in our bloods, and I probably started skiing when I was like 4 years old maybe. I live super close to the ski trails, and we just started like cross-country skiing with my family. And as I got older, it got a little bit more serious. So when I was 15, I moved away from home to go to this boarding school for skiing, which was really fun. and then I decided to come here. So it's just always been a part of my life. It started as more like a fun thing, but then it just got more serious as I maybe realized that I had some talent for it. So usually we have practice, in the fall we have practice twice a day, 3 times a week, which is a lot when you're also like a full-time student. But I would say during the winter we usually take Mondays off, then we go ski on Tuesdays in the morning, then I go to class, and then I'll maybe do like a strength workout in the afternoon. Then we go skiing on Wednesday again, we go skiing on Thursday, and then we usually travel to wherever we're going. We're pretty lucky to travel only in the east mainly, like northeast, so we go to New Hampshire, and we go to Mass, and we go to Maine, so we kind of like stay in the area, which is pretty convenient. So we usually travel, which is like a 3-hour drive usually, and then we just ski when we get there, and then we race on Friday and Saturday. Yeah, and then just drive back. Usually the drive back consists of doing a lot of homework in the van. I think that our team is pretty lucky. We're a relatively small team, and we also train guys and girls together, which I think is really good for the dynamic of the team. It like balances it out a lot, and I think that we're extremely fortunate to have, we're like 17 people on the team, and we're like a team consisting of not only just like really talented and hardworking athletes, but also really good people that are really fun to be around. So I think that combination is very like successful, and also that being around like guys when we train too is like very like inspiring, as they're obviously better than us, but I think the girls like gets a lot out of that from like pushing themselves and just like always like staying on top of their stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's like all the small things like sleep and eat like well, and just like I don't know, just staying focused. It's very like you have to stay on top of your stuff. It's just like no way around it, because I like noticed in the fall when I was on top of things, it went really well in training and school and everything, but once you like start getting a little bit sick or like starting to do bad on the test or like don't care, then like kind of everything just falls down. So I think it's really critical to just like always, you have to be like at it, you have to be ready to like do whatever it takes. But I think like the small things like staying healthy, sleeping enough, drinking water, like all those things, because a lot of people train the same amount. So it's like it's a 24, you are an athlete 24/7 even though you don't think you are.
Yeah.
My name is Ben Ogden. I'm from Langgrove, Vermont, and I'm a cross-country skier. The U.S. team is kind of a cool opportunity that I have. It sort of is as big or as little of a commitment as I want it to be. So since I decided to go the college route, it's sort of less of a commitment, but in the summertime I still get to train with all the World Cup skiers from the U.S. and you know, I know them all really well through the U.S. team, which is cool. Yeah, I really like, we have a pretty small men's team in comparison to most of the sports around UVM. So having the girls there and having sort of their presence on the team and on the trips is so much fun. It really, I think it really adds to the team dynamic, and I almost think it's a bummer that the other teams don't get to experience that like we can. My short-term goals, well, my goals sort of for this year and the coming years are just to sort of figure out how to even better balance the school and training and racing side of things. That was my goal for this year, and it will be for next year. Just keep trying to figure that out. Another sort of long-term-ish goal for me is I've always said I really want to be a part of a team that wins NCAAs. This year we were runner-up. And we had a lot of stuff that sort of didn't go right. I think there was a lot of room to improve for the UVM team in general. And we had a lot of stuff that did go right, but also there's room to improve. So I think that's an attainable goal for next year or a couple years down the line.
Russia, but Team US, what a fight, what a relay. There is only 2 curves and the home straight, which is separating Team US to be the world champion in the junior men 4 x 5 kilometer relay. This was the real celebration of cross-country skiing and a really historical win for the Team US. Congratulations Luke Jager, Ben Ogden, Johnny Hagenbuch, and Gus Schumacher, the world champions, silver medalist, Russia, Egor Trefilov, Andrei Kuznetsov, Yaroslav Ekoshin, Alexander Tetetev, and Germany.
Well, my left hand's free. Well, my left hand's free. Well, my left hand's free. Oh, no.
Lydia Maitland, women's field hockey, Shelburne, Vermont. This was a huge adjustment for me. In high school, I would practice like 2 hours after school every day, and then we'd have games, and sometimes like a game on the weekend, maybe once, and we're also only practicing for a couple months while I'm playing in the season of that sport. But now, during the season, we have 3 to 4 hour practices, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have Mondays off, and then Friday we have games, practice on Saturday, and then Sunday we have games, which is a huge time commitment, especially not just during practice but surrounding practices, because we have to be in the locker room 20 minutes early, and then afterwards just showering, and it ends up taking out a huge chunk of your day. I think I've really begun to develop a stronger appreciation for the sport and for the tactics in the sport, because in high school, especially in Vermont, I would just play and kind of run down the field and dribble around. We played on grass, which was much different than what I play on now, which is AstroTurf. And now there's so many more things that I need to be paying attention to and looking out for. And I think I was talking to my coach after my first week of preseason, and I was like, I feel like I'm learning a completely different sport, because on the AstroTurf it's just so much faster. You have to think about the angles and your spacing so much more, and I think that's been the biggest adjustment. Okay. I think just looking at like a student athlete perspective, not just like this could be any sport, but I think anyone can come in with good skills as a freshman, but we do so much work to improve our skills and improve our fitness, agility, everything. And I think really buying into that and working your hardest every day with the notion that other teams are also working their hardest every day, and to beat them, you need to be putting that much more effort in. That's a huge question. Our coach had us like write that down, our why, because it can be really tough waking up in the morning and walking over on a cold January day to go lift. But I'd say my why would be the atmosphere that my team has created is just such a fun thing to be a part of, and I think that working and training with a group of girls that all support you and are so close to you is huge, and just being in that environment.
Athletics help define people. They help people recognize their flaws and build on their strengths. They force people to understand that there's no such thing as luck. Luck is purely where hard work meets the perfect moment. They force people to understand that building up those around them can be just as crucial as building up themselves. Most important, they force people to remind themselves every day that there's a fire deep inside of them.